Welcome to Public House, intimate conversations with people making a difference in the Hudson Valley. And now from Paula's Public House in Poughkeepsie, here's Paula Young.
Hi, I'm Paula Young, and welcome to Public House. And today we have the future next governor of the state of New York, Marc Molinaro.
Well, that's nice of you. Thank you.
Hey, Marcus. Well, that's why you're here, ostensibly to run for governor.
I am. Yeah.
And so talk to me about that. Tell me why and why now?
You know, I had made the decision not to run.
I remember.
And when I did, my phone started ringing from across the state. You know, I traveled the state for about 2 years talking about the potential for running for governor and also promoting our program to support families with individuals with special needs. And I got calls from all across the state. And I tell people, you know, I had this conversation with my kids and my wife, and I said to my 8-year-old son, Jack, your dad's being asked to run for governor. And he said, well, how many times do they have to ask you? The bottom line is I love New York, and I am very concerned about the direction we're headed in. As a state, we're more expensive than we were 7 years ago. There are too many families being disrupted because kids can't stay here, seniors can't afford to stay in our communities. We have so many struggling with addiction and mental health. We have a state government that, quite frankly, is just a culture of constant corruption that has reached the highest levels of this governor's administration. And I believe that too many, in particular this governor specifically, don't understand what public service is about. It's about helping people. And given that opportunity, I think that it's time that New York have a choice and a chance to elect a governor who understands how tough it is to live here and what we can accomplish if we just work together, believe in each other, and reach for the very best.
Well, I think that one of the main things and one of the reasons why I think you have a good chance. We had George for 3 terms, George Pataki.
Yeah. And
since then, we've kind of had a little bit of a skip, a step, a tumble. We do have, there are rumors that there's a huge amount of corruption in Albany.
Rumors.
We also have a national government that is rife with potential corruption. They're blowing holes in everything.
Yeah.
People have lost faith in public service.
Yeah.
You have been a public servant pretty much most of your life.
Yeah, I say proudly. It's not anything I'll apologize for.
It's a good thing. So my question is, you've stated why, and why now. So what do you bring?
Yeah.
What do you bring?
I bring 25 years of pragmatic problem solving. At the end of the day, I don't think ideology solves problems. I think ideas do. And I think in a time of great turbulence, whether it's at the national level and in Albany, and it's not rumors of corruption. We saw the governor's chief assistant prosecuted and brought to justice for selling his office while the governor was in the office next door. Yes. In just weeks, we're going to see another corruption scandal unfold out in Buffalo. Yes. It's real, it's pervasive, and it's corrosive. I bring 25 years of real life experience, both as a public official, as a dad, a husband, a son, as somebody who, by the way, as a kid, food stamps put dinner on our table. Right. Medicaid helped my mom, and Medicaid provides help to my daughter today. Right. I know what it's like to live in New York. Right. And I don't want to come to this office or this campaign saying that I have all the answers or that my ideology is the best way to go. It isn't. At the end of the day, I have always tried to bring people together, mold consensus, and solve problems. And what Albany is lacking are leaders who are willing to put their ego aside and focus really on bringing together stakeholders to make a difference. You know, I believe in the people of New York, and I believe in our capacity to solve problems. And I think that is a governing philosophy that more need to embrace.
I completely agree. I also agree about the attrition situation. We have a lot of seniors leaving. Yeah. We have young couples coming up here, which is upstate, I guess, because they can't afford to live in the city. Yeah. Now, everything you say sounds so good, and you're right, it's ideas, but they have to be good ideas and not just an idea. Yeah. Ideas that are floated, I see that in government all the time. Great ideas, and then they have nothing. Sure. No one lifts them, and no one grows with them. So let's talk a little bit about an idea that you did think differently. Yeah. Now, that was an idea, and you made it happen. Sure. First off, I want to know what the impetus was for that.
Yeah. I was a failed father. Think differently is our call to action to say to folks, regardless of where they are or what income they have, that we need to do more to embrace, respect, and support those with developmental disabilities. I say that it came out of me being a failed father, which is just true. I have a daughter who was born on the autism spectrum. I have 3 wonderful children. but I found myself compensating and doing for Abigail what she could do for herself if I only believed in her. And I say that out of love and compassion I was doing these things. And think about it. I think so many of us look at others with disabilities and think that they can't achieve certain things. It's sort of this prejudice of low expectations. And I want us to confront that. 1 in 68 kids born on the autism spectrum, thousands of New Yorkers living with developmental disabilities. And whether it's access to the transit system in New York, which is not accessible to folks with or without disabilities, or it's the special education system, we aren't doing enough to bring those with differences into the fold and really support and assist those living with developmental disabilities. Dutchess County embraced this. It is countywide. You know it, whether it was hosting the Special Olympics or changing the way we deliver services, but now there are 100 communities across the state of New York that have embraced the Think Differently principles. And as a candidate for governor, if the only thing people hear me talk about is that we need to speak up for those who feel left out, then I will have done my job. But as governor, I want to be the advocate for families that struggle too hard. This governor has made it more difficult for families and individuals with developmental disabilities to access the support. They haven't made access and universal accessibility a priority. We have to do that because so many can live so much more independently and achieve such real value and worth in their lives if they know they have a government, friends, neighbors, and businesses, and community leaders that are supporting them.
Well, I understand the Think Differently with that, but I think Think Differently can be spread out.
It can be.
Actually bring arms. The LGBTQ community needs to be brought in. And also not just people with those developmental disabilities, but I remember when I worked for New York City government, there was a sit-in in City Hall. And people had wheelchairs and they couldn't get out of the basement because the elevator had broken. They haven't changed that. There are so many specifics that you will have to address.
Well, and just understand, and I get it, but we have to deal in details. And I'm a government geek. I love details. But I also think, we've talked about it briefly, you need a set of principles. My principle is basically inclusion and compassion. What my personal ideology is important to me, but it is not self-defining. It isn't how we will make decisions. It's really, for me, inclusion and compassion. How do we get people together to focus on solving problems? And for us, we invest money in ADA compliance. We demand communities and businesses employ individuals with developmental disabilities. And we say to towns, villages, cities, and others, you've got to break down barriers and be more inclusive. We've expanded our public education and community college to include kids who can achieve if only they're believed in. So these are the details, these are the specifics. But the truth of the matter is, you've got to start with a governing philosophy and a set of principles. I will tell you, listening to the governor the last several weeks, I don't know that he has any of that. But my position is very simple. Include people, be compassionate, and extend to everyone an opportunity to be heard, regardless of who they love, what their income is, where they come from, how long they've lived here. And if we can do that,
or what color their skin is.
Or the color of their skin, or who they pray to. Because at the end of the day, as a state, we're the most diverse and beautiful state in the nation. But we don't want to be ugly in how we debate and discuss the important issues of the day.
They said, right? Wasn't it Truman that said America is great because America is good? And if it stops being good, it'll stop being great. But anyhow, this is the first of our 2 segments. Please, we will be stopping now and tune in next week for part 2. Thank you. I look forward to talking to you a little more.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Paula Young, and I'm the proprietor here of Paula's Public House. Do join me for good food, good cheer, and good fellowship. We are here, we have fun, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. Come on down.